Hey, good evening. It's me again, Mishan, and welcome to another episode of Workout at Home, Season 3, Episode number 5. Right? Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the topic, probably it's going to hurt a lot of people's feeling, but we're not here to hurt people's feeling. Actually, it's more like we're here to share the truth, right? Or what the evidence has as for today. So your goal is to this one I will be specifically for those who want to lose weight for fat loss, right? So if you want to go on fat loss, you want to lose some weight, you may want to stay around and tune into this. So today's topic is about eating in certain time is bad for you, right? You probably hear it somewhere or somewhat, right? Someone's going to tell you, don't eat at 7, don't eat at 8 p.m. You eat after 9 p.m. Apparently you gain. It's bad for you, right? Just put it that way. It's bad for you. So maybe before we talk about whether it's good or bad, let us take a step back and probably think about when someone tell you, I don't eat after 8 p.m. because it is bad. Let's take a step back and see how do you define the word bad, right? Does this mean if you eat after 9, you become from a very clean person to a very evil person? Or you eat after 8 p.m, you're going to become a horrible person, like a murderer? Or is it's not good for health? How do you define bad for health? For example, do you gain more weight at night? Or do you have a higher risk of getting cancer at night? So where do you draw the line, of bad? This one is a bit, again, it's a very blurred area. As a person who comes up from a background that people tell us don't eat at night because at night makes us fat, or 8 p.m, 9 p.m, 10 p.m, all of the time, all the weird times you have heard before. So we're going to break this down with hopefully also not just whether it's okay or not okay, also a take home point for you. So what you can do to fit your goal, right? So when someone say don't eat, for example's sake, I will use 8 p.m. Apparently, it's quite a standard number, right? So Karen will go to you and tell you, hey, don't eat after 8 because eating after 8 is bad for you. First of all, let us define what is bad. Again, I am just doing an assumption here. Everyone's idea may be different. So when someone come and tell you that eating after 8 is bad, maybe you can ask them, define bad, right? They will usually tell you begin with, I don't know, bad for health, right? The fact is, you said something and you said, I don't know, you might not, there's a saying goes, if you don't have anything better to say, probably don't say it, right? Because if you're not sure, don't say it, right? So let's just use the 8 p.m. again. Eating after 8 p.m. is bad. Now I'm trying to be as reasonable as I can. Eating, if they say after 8 p.m. is bad, I will assume that bad as in it may be unhealthy for you. You may have some health complication. You may gain weight. Or eating a lot is makes you a very lazy person, because after you eat, you're very lazy. At night, you're even lazier. I do not know where the bad definition, clear definition is, but I use this as a fat loss example so you guys can have an understand. And I will not tell you the answer. You go and evaluate yourself whether you think it is good or it's bad, right? So a common understanding from the public is that if you eat at night, you will gain weight, alright? So what do they mean by that? Now, if you look at the common norm, they will tell you eating at night makes me fat. When I don't eat at night, I will lose weight. You probably hear a word or two like this. Now, is the magic on the PM, 8 p.m, 9 p.m, or whatever time? Or is the magic actually is by reducing your calories? So if you go back to previous episode, last week's live, as we talked about last two actually, Nutrition 101 part 1 and part 2. I will send the links below so you guys can have a look. So if you think about it, like I said, if your goal is for fat loss, you gotta be in one state, is to be on a caloric deficit. Reduce your calorie via two techniques. Number one, reduce your food. Number two, increase your movement. Okay, so going back to the topic of I don't eat at night, I will lose weight. Chances are they are not wrong, but the magic or the working formula is not because you eat at night. The working formula is because you restrict your calories at night, right? So I know it sounds very repetitive, but I will use the same example again, which I share on the Nutrition 101. Let's just pretend you have a debit card of 2,000 ringgit. You spend 1,000 in the morning, you have 1,000 at night. If your goal is to save as much money as you can, you don't want to spend all 2,000 ringgit. You probably spend 1,006, 1,005. So you have a little bit calories, you have a little bit money at the end there. So you translate it to the actual example, which is similar. If you want to reduce, let's just say your calories, your maintenance calories, meaning the calories of you to maintain your weight, right? Not going up, not going down. Let's just say it's 2,000 calories. If you eat at the end of the day, let's say you eat without any restriction. If you eat 1,007 calories at the end of the day, meaning you are on a deficit of 300 calories to spare, meaning you are on a calorie deficit. Okay? Now, if let's just take another scenario. So let's say 1,007 calories. Instead of eating 2,000 calories, you are now eating 1,700 calories. So let's just use an example. This 1,700 calories, you can spend it almost anywhere, because you spend in the morning. Let's say if you eat in the morning 1,700 calories, at night you got zero left, because if your goal is on the deficit, you cannot overeat. You overeat, you go on a surplus, you will gain weight. So, meaning to say, if you control your calories throughout the day, it seems like if you eat a lot, whether it's on the morning or you eat a lot at the night, but if your calories are controlled, that means you are in a deficit. This will be able to put you on a weight loss goal, because calorie deficit, right? So if you, I'm going to repeat, summarize everything again. So it seems like you eat, your goal is on the deficit, whether you're doing a deficit in the morning, whether you're doing a deficit at the night. It seems like as long as you're deficit throughout the day, you will lose weight. That's about it. It's not science. You don't need a PhD of this. You don't need 160 IQ to figure this out. You don't even need a calculator, right? So this is the idea of how you put yourself on a caloric deficit. So when they say eating after 8 p.m. is bad, just ask them kindly the next time, how do you define bad? If they say eating at night makes you gain weight, well, it depends. If you overeat your calories at night, obviously you gain weight. Vice versa, if you undereat your calories throughout the entire day, you will lose weight. It's just these basic principles that will guide you to your fat loss goal. Alright? Now you're going to have some people who feel like, no, that doesn't explain. I don't eat at night. I don't eat at night, I lose weight. It's actually because of your caloric deficit. Because when you don't eat at night, unintentionally, with or without you realizing it, you are reducing your calories. So let's just say 3 meals, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. If you reduce, say, I don't eat at dinner, so obviously you're on a deficit, right? Because this one is gone already, right? So your calorie day, your daily calorie intake is reduced. So of course you're in the what is it called, on the deficit, right? So let's just use another example. Let's just reverse now. Let's change it. if eating, this is there's a special appearance on fasting also, alright? Fasting is the same, very similar principles also. So let's just say you want to do fasting in the morning. Turns out if you do fasting in the morning, you manage to lose a lot of weight. So what is the magic? Is it because you eat in the morning? Or is it because you are on a calorie deficit? So let's check this out. You put over here, breakfast, lunch, dinner, okay? You don't eat your breakfast. You eat your lunch and dinner. So are you going to lose weight? The answer is yes, because you put yourself in a caloric deficit, right? But let's just say example, breakfast, lunch, dinner. You don't eat your breakfast, right? Let's say this is a breakfast, right? You don't eat your breakfast, but you push all the calories for breakfast to your lunch and then dinner. Despite it looks like only 2 meals, you notice the calorie is still the same. So meaning if you eat like this, that means instead of fasting in the morning, the calories pushed to the lunch, you cannot lose weight. Is because your calories is not reduced. It is still 3 fingers, right? It is not 2 fingers, right? So that is how the calorie works. So it turns out, just now we talked about eating X time is bad for you, or a reverse version, a special appearance of if you do fasting you can lose weight. Or you hear Karen do a fasting, she lost weight. The magic is not fasting. The magic is to reduce calories. Pretty much that's about it. So instead of this, she's doing this. Okay? If you take this, you shift over here, let's stay here, it's still 3 fingers. So you are not on a deficit. It is that simple. Alright? In fact, these ideas are so simple, people just don't want to believe it. Human has a nature that we like to blame external things. It's normal. You late for work today, if you can, you're going to blame the traffic. If you can, blame the train. Let's say you cannot save a lot of money, right? Actually, you can blame yourself for spending too much, but of course, human being human, we are more comfortable in blaming external things. So we will blame economy not good, we blame inflation, but then we go to the street, we buy lattes because it's life, right? Now, I'm not judging latte is bad or anything. These are just examples. It's overspending on cosmetics, holidays, food, etc. So, at the end of the day, going back to the original topic, eating at what time, is it good or bad for you? I will let you decide. Now, a general application is if you enjoy eating more in the morning, or you find out that you are that kind of person where at night you tend to overeat, then you may use the strategy by maybe saving up your, again here, using this example. Let's just say breakfast, lunch and dinner. Let's say you are that kind of person, you like to eat more at night. So what do? Maybe you can, don't eat so much on your breakfast. You increase a little bit. So I don't know you guys can see now. So you increase whatever that's chopped here, you increase one on the dinner. So there you go. You still can enjoy more food on your dinner and still be on a deficit. See? So it's not some magic trick, alright? So another example, let's just use again breakfast, lunch, dinner. Let's say you are that kind of person, you don't want to eat a lot at night, right? But your goal is on the fat loss. You realize that you tend to eat a lot at lunch. So what do? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. So what do? Maybe reduce your lunch a little bit, or you reduce your, maybe you want to reduce your dinner. These are just examples, yeah? Make sure you do your homework. You reduce your dinner, maybe you reduce your lunch a bit also, but you increase a lot on breakfast because you enjoy breakfast the most, right? So instead of like this, I cut half of this, I increase over here. So it's kind of like the debit card analogy I told you. As long as calories are controlled, it turns out you eat early in the morning, you eat at night. There is, if your goal is fat loss, if your goal is on a calorie deficit, doesn't show very big difference. If anything, but there's not much of difference. Alright? When they hear, they say, I hear them say, maybe clarify with them who are the they are they referring to, right? Because when I show you is if you really want, you can message me, I can share with you. These are actually based on evidence. They put a group of people, they control the calories, one eat more in the morning, one eat more at night, or was it evening, I can't remember. But the result turns out not much of difference. So as long as calories are controlled throughout the day, you should be in a great state on the fat loss. Okay? Now, a little bit bonus. Let's just say, if this is true, you eat in the morning, you eat at night, you gain a lot of weight. Let's just pretend bad means gaining a lot of weight. So you eat at night, you gain a lot of weight. If this is true, two questions I want to raise. Number one, let's just say we got a time machine. I use this a lot of examples. So far, nobody can answer. So if you can answer, do let me know. So let's just pretend we are in what's the time now? Sorry, let me just check. Okay, let's pretend 8 p.m. again. We are in an 8 p.m. body. So apparently 8 p.m. will make us fat, right? So let's say I take 8 p.m. I go to here to New York is a 12-hour difference. So my question to you is, if I'm a KL guy, 8 p.m. If I go to New York right now, it's going to be 8 a.m., right? So my question is, when your body is at New York at 8 a.m., is your body a 8 a.m. or a 8 p.m. body? And you think about it, you tell me if that makes sense or that's logical, right? So if you go to US right now, you go to New York right now, are you an 8 p.m. body or are you an 8 a.m. body? When US time is, when the New York time is 8 a.m. So you think about it, right? So if body really works, that after 8 p.m. makes you fat, then yeah, right? Actually not two questions, three questions. So number one is the US timing that we talk about. Number two is, which one you think, okay, if you're telling me eating at night makes you fat, so does this mean, if this is true, I will raise question number two. If you eat a donut in the morning, it's fine. You eat a salad at night, you will gain a lot of weight. Now, does this sound very logical to you? Let's pretend the donut is very modest and the donut is very heavy coated, you name it, chocolate drizzle, sprinkles, inside of glaze or whatever. And then you take the salad. Let's say salad is just a few lettuce, a chicken, and a drip of sauce. That's it. So you're telling me eating the morning donut is okay, but you eat at night and the salad, you gain weight. Explain that. Try to let your brain do some work and see if this makes sense or not. Now again, I'm not here to tell you the answer is right or not, but I'm just raising some questions. So lately when I read some books, they always tell you whether you think it's a good. This is from some of the investors. This investor's name is called Charlie Munger. Very cool guy. So he says like, if you ever think it's a good idea, you want to invert the idea. So for example, if you say, oh, eating at night makes me bad. So I'm here to invert, that means to reverse the question you back. Alright, like, hey, do you think this is practical? So if you say eating at night makes you fat, question number one, if you go to New York, what body is it? Is it an AM body or PM body? Number two, as we have talked about just now, are you telling me eating a high calorie food in the morning is fine, eating a low calorie food at night is horrible, you will still gain weight, not because of what you eat at the morning, but it's because what you eat at night? And this is question number three, right? Now we don't talk based on feelings, because if we talk about feelings, we're going to hurt a lot of people. My goal is not to hurt people's feelings, my goal is to spread as much truth or as much evidence as we have today. So let's show evidence, right? So I'm going to use some evidence. I know the camera is a bit inverted. Maybe after the end, or you can go to the YouTube and when I switch back, hopefully you guys can have a look. Now I got some food with me right now. I want you to have a look and you tell me your opinion here. So what I have here is it's a tuna can, right? So if you look at this tuna can, every food will have a food label, right? So I'll teach you how to read over here. Now I'm very sorry because the camera is just out, but I just want you to see, or if you can find any food in your fridge or anything, you have a look. So usually there is two things. Usually they will have per serving and then per 100 gram, right? Usually there's the nutrition calories, nutrition facts. So I'll read it out for you in case the video don't go through. So the nutrition facts, you will see amount per serving, which in this case is 37.5 gram and per 100 gram. So if you notice, it's talk about the nutrition on per serving, right? This brings me to question number 3. If really eating food at night, 8 p.m. makes you fat, then shouldn't all food labels, now food labels are designed to give you better health option, right? Because the government set this rule so that us as consumer, we get to know what is put in the food. We can also look at the calories, being more health conscious and so on, right? So if this is true, if this is true, that eating at night makes you fat, then why do food label companies only tell you per serving and tell you per 100 gram? They should be doing 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. right? Because eating at 8 p.m. apparently makes you fat, right? So if this is true, why are not food label? In fact, please find me any food label, any retail, any food product that shows a nutrition fact that has an 8 a.m. and an 8 p.m. If you have, do take a picture, tag me inside. I would really like to see. Alright, make sure it's original product. Don't go and Photoshop or anything. Yeah. But if you have, do let me know whether which food product, all of them will have per serving and 100 gram, or sometimes just per serving because too small. You will never see them putting a label of 8 a.m. is going to be example 31 calories. 8 p.m. it will be 50 calories, right? So meaning the good news is for all of us, whether this food is in 8 a.m. or 8 p.m., turns out the calories is the same, right? Are you surprised that it's the same, right? So I know I sound a little bit sarcastic on this one, but my goal is not to be sarcastic, but to let you think. Because if this is true, all these things should happen. If you are at New York, you should have an 8, whatever, it should be 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. already. Until today, I still don't know. Number 2, which is, if it's true, then are you telling me eating anything you want in the morning is fine, eating at night, just because you eat a fruit is going to be the disaster of all disaster, just because you have a fruit at night? Alright, and number 3, food label should be printing 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. not 100 grams and per serving, right? So if you think this is a coincidence, I have another food label just to show you, right? So this is an example of pasta. Sorry, this is just whatever food I have, I will give, right? So I don't know if you guys can see or not. Right, you should do it here. Maybe in the future I should do how to read food nutrition label. Maybe you guys can have a look, right? Yeah, I will take note of that. Okay, back to the topic. So as you can see, is I'm not sure again. Is per 100 gram and per serving. Again, they didn't mention 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. right? Because if eating at night really makes you overweight, then isn't that unethical of the company to only print 100 gram and don't tell you at night how many calories are there? You let that sink in, you think about it. So hopefully today I'm able to share with you. Again, I'm not here to give right or wrong answers. Of course, don't take it to the extreme. For example, now we go about the general applications, so some take-home points, how you can, alright, mission, we get it, calories, alright, deficit, okay, get it, night, morning, okay, we get it, so what do we do now? So these are just some general application. Number 1, is to watch out your food at the whole, to watch out your food on the entire day. So meaning, don't just like morning I eat okay, nighttime I eat like crap, or vice versa. Morning I eat like crap, nighttime I starve myself. Not starve yourself. You don't eat anything, or you eat extra clean food, and then thinking that the clean food at night is going to solve the morning's problem. It doesn't work like that. In a nutshell, it puts, as long if your goal is fat loss, you've got to put yourself in a deficit, right? Point number one is to don't go to the extreme. Don't fast the whole day, or don't stuff as much food as you can at night, all right? Even though your goal is a deficit, because this brings to point number 1.5. Find whatever that is best fit you. If you find out you are that kind of person, you will eat more at night. Don't guilt trip yourself. You are still a good person. You are not an evil person. When they say eating at night is bad, ask them, what do you define as bad? Just ask them politely, right? So if you eat a lot at night, what you want to do is to eat lesser in the morning so you can enjoy more food at night. Vice versa. If you like to eat a lot in the morning, nighttime you just don't have appetite, then good. Maybe you can eat more at the morning at your breakfast and lunch, and then at dinner, maybe you don't need to eat as long as you are not hungry too much. A bit of hunger is fine, but don't get too hungry, which could be also another issue. If not, you will have a sustainability issue. That means you break off the diet, you go on a binge, you have cheat meal, then repeat on Monday, you're going to do your diet properly, then you go the same cycle again. So first of all, you need to know your calories, how much you're eating, maybe do a bit of your homework, see how much you're eating, and work from there. You don't need to count calories, but you should at least have a rough idea on how to reduce the calories. Okay, I have a lot of clients. I would say the first 2-3 months, some of them don't even track calories. They just eat some healthy options, some lean meat, plain carbohydrate, some sort of fruits and vegetables. From there, by default, you are on a deficit, or cut down on junk foods. Just those simple things like that can go very far. So you don't need to take any calculator. Just ask yourself what you're eating, and don't guilt trip yourself regardless of the time. Alright, so I hope this episode gives you guys some idea that it's not all doomed if you eat at night. With that being said, it's not the time to stuff yourself on the food, stuff your face on the food at night as well. Right? So that's about it. So most important, you find your own balance. Make sure you have some good food choices, and don't guilt trip yourself even if you eat night. So the next time you see Karen tell you like, hey, you don't eat the night because it's bad for you, ask them, how do you define bad? Right? Does this mean if I eat after 8, I become an evil person? Or does it mean I'll gain 2 times the calories of whatever the food label has printed? Ask them questions like that. So if they just thinking like eating at night makes you fat, don't just get buy into the idea. Make sure you are a person, be very rational, think about it, think about how I invert all the arguments just now. You say, oh, eating at night makes you fat. Alright, cool. You go to New York, what is your body? Right? Or someone say, eating at night makes you fat. Alright, cool. Let's switch the thing. Why food labels are not doing? Why food companies are doing wrong labels, or are they actually doing right labels? And last but not least, asking them, does this mean if you eat a lot of calories at the morning, nighttime is a failure even though you just eat fruits or vegetables? You can ask them questions like that. At the end of the day, we always promote consistency and sustainability. You have to adhere means sustain up. You sustain your diet and find a way where you can also keep being consistent. Alright? No point you tell yourself, oh, eating at night is okay, but then today you do it, then the next day you don't do it. You eat a lot at night, and then following day you don't eat. You eat a little bit again. Keep your meal as consistent. That's going to help you out also. Right? So I guess that's it for today's episode. Once again, thank you so much for watching. So I hope by the end of this topic, you should be able to understand whether eating at night is it good or bad for you. I know I put it in a bit very biased form, but do have some thoughts. Think about it. If I'm wrong, I would love to be corrected. Do let me know. You can pull articles, you can pull evidence, you can show me. I'll be more than happy to also share with you my point of view, and we work from there. As long as you keep in moderation, you are in a caloric deficit if your goal is a fat loss, and you should be able to avoid quote unquote gaining weight at night. Right? Now that you know how the mechanics work, if you will. Alright, so that's all. I'll see you all on Thursday. Thursday I'm going to do a workout from home. Now if you're at a workout from home, I'm going to do a scenario where I only got one dumbbell, right? So because lately someone, one of my clients, ordered a dumbbell at home, only to find out instead of getting one pair, they got one. So this one is for you. You know who you are. So I doubt you watch, but anyway. So I'm going to use one dumbbell and try to do the most out of the exercise at home. Not much of equipment, probably a chair or just ourselves. And yeah, we'll see how we do the best out of it. Right? So till then, you guys stay safe, take care. I'll talk to you later on Thursday. Right? Thank you for watching. Bye bye.